Aloha and welcome to a special edition of Java. I've got a special guest tonight. It's Gracie Investigates. Now, I'd like to introduce her. I'm going to leave a link to her channel below, so I'd like if you would please give her a visit. She's got a lot of material she would like to basically bring out and let people know about. So, tonight we'll be talking about the economic takedown. It's all by design. You will have no freedoms, you'll own nothing, and be happy. Gracie, welcome.
Hi, Lava Girl. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. So my name is Gracie, and the title is Gracie Investigates. So how this will happen is every business will eventually fall. That includes all restaurants, all stores of any kind. Even, of course, the dollar stores are falling now, but every single store, there will eventually be nothing. No one will be selling anything. That includes all the grocery stores. They're going to fall as well. So then that goes to the point of what the World Economic Forum said: you will own nothing and be happy. Corporations have been buying individual houses and are driving the prices up so people cannot afford a home in the USA any longer. This is all by design. If we go to the Jacobin article, you'll see where Wall Street is buying up entire neighborhoods. And that is why that is a lot of the reason, besides inflation, that we are seeing the prices being driven up so high that the average family can no longer afford a home in most places in the United States. This is a recent occurrence, and it started in the last few years.
So a lot of these corporations like BlackRock and stuff with these Wall Street firms, they're driving up the prices, but it's no longer just the mortgage rates that they're speaking about so much. Tell us a bit more about this, if you would.
Yes, and that is by design because they want to make the tiny houses, and they don't want people living in these houses anymore. And they want multiple people living in a house, like in the picture you see in this condo sitting here. They don't want single family homes anymore. They want to take away our freedoms, take away our rights and our liberties.
So basically, we're watching small businesses also getting crushed. So people are not just having an issue with cost, but they have no wages because they have no jobs. So we've got an increase, and this is just basically going to build that two-tier society that we're looking at. So you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the people who have homes are not going to be able to keep up with the taxes and insurance. Even the rich will fall. Just like Hollywood, you hear of people in Hollywood having problems now, and that is they are done with Hollywood. When you saw Hallmark back in, like, I don't know, 2016, 2017, something like that, move to Canada, I knew that something was up then. Because Hollywood, think about it. Everything's always been Hollywood, the stars and stuff. Well, they no longer need the stars. That's why the movies are failing. That's why they just don't need them anymore. So things are changing, and it's all by design. And the homeowners who can afford it right now, they feel stuck because if they sell, where are they going to go? But with these rising taxes and insurance, they're getting to the point, some of them, especially the later purchasers, like after 2020, that they're not able to buy food because it's either okay, pay rent or buy food. But then again, like, there's nowhere to go. So you're going to have these Biden cities that are going to come up, these Bidenvilles, whatever, shanty towns, because people are going to wind up homeless.
Yeah, and so a lot of this is happening right now, and we're watching the increase in minimum wage for even fast food is just going ridiculous, and that is basically crushing small businesses.
Yes, it's all working in tandem.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of this is happening basically in California, and we've seen a lot of backlash in this.
So California is being dismantled now, and that's why the minimum wage was raised to $20 to shut businesses down. This is all by design. Florida's another one that's having problems with, like, condos, and their main problem is real estate. But with California, they're just making it so many restaurants are just folding and closing. So I think California is probably going to be the first state possibly that you see these 15-minute cities in because they're making it impossible. Because think about it, with no work, we're a service goods country. We don't make a lot of things, and that's a problem. So if there's no restaurants and there's no stars and there's nobody making films because they're going to become obsolete, then there's not going to be any jobs in California. And then
Yeah, they've got a political problem there.
that's what, well, I feel like that for this, yes, I feel like California might be the first state to be the ones to kind of get rid of most everything first. You're gonna see things go down there, as opposed to like the Midwest. Things have not heated up like that just because our governors in these other states have not acted like California's governor has done. And this is all by design. So they know, but by raising these prices, they're going to drive these businesses out of business, and that's exactly what they want
Yeah,
to do.
and this is their driving force right now, and this is how they are going to control the population to force them
Right?
into these 15-minute cities. Otherwise, nobody would go into them.
Yeah, and you're going to have more. You're going to have even more homelessness and more shanty towns, and then that's going to drive more people out of California. The people who can get out. So, yeah. Um, Chapter 11, the six biggest restaurants companies filed for Chapter 11. And this is a problem. These are some of these companies
Yeah,
have been around for decades. These aren't new, and these are
right?
big franchises. And but as we know that most of them are real estate, or owned and like franchised out, like Burger King, some of those locations in the picture, and that's just how. Um, I think that I think they planned this
Definitely.
for decades. I really do. I think this is all by design for decades. It took decades to plan all this. So, but that's just where we are. And that will lead us to 15
And
minute
that's
cities.
kind of a buzzword right now. These 15-minute cities with more of the control that's going to happen, the surveillance and the complete issues that are going to go on with this. So, if you would, I mean, they're being sold on convenience, the idea. Can you tell us a bit more about your thoughts on these?
So the 15-minute cities are going to be like the equivalent of several blocks in a big city like New York. So maybe 6 or 8 or 12 blocks even. 12. It's like where you could walk in
Convenience, yeah.
15 minutes, basically. And they don't want anyone to have a car. And you will only eat what they have for you. They're making that's why Bill Gates is buying up the farmland, because he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He's not planning to build
Right.
to make crops. They are buying it along with other companies that are being allowed to buy American soil, and no one's growing crops anymore. And they want people to eat bugs and everything else. And people will only have what the government chooses to serve them once these 15-minute cities become a reality. Now it's going to take a while. This is not going to happen overnight. So, and I think California might be the first start of it, because if you think about it, the homelessness there, people are going to be rushing there and begging for any kind of housing they can give them, where they're going to give them like tiny houses, like 100 square feet, 120 square feet per person. You think about it, that's the size of a large closet in some people's homes today. So our standard of living is going to change. Everyone's will. The poor, of course, are going to fall first, and then the middle class, but the rich will fall also, because once they're done with the rich, they don't need them anymore, and they will. That's a whole other topic, but that's going to usher us into the Antichrist.
Agreed. And so they're shoving everybody down. If you're not in that lower rung of society,
Yeah,
you will be. If you're not
yeah,
in one of the elite, even if you are wealthy at the moment, if you're not an elite, you're going to go down. And they are controlling our food supplies, you say, very definitely.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And they're going to be hungry because there's not going to be any food. there's not going to be anything growing. Everything's going to be like lab grown, and you're going to be eating what they make in the labs, or like, bug factories, if you will. It's not going to be, and it's only going to be what they ship in.
Right, and a lot of these companies
So,
backed by 3M and Monsanto, and as you're saying, Bill Gates building all of
yeah,
these. But we've got a war on our food. You can't be buying anything from local farms anymore.
yeah, yeah. No, not at all. Protix, the company Protix partnered with Tyson Foods, and they're making a bug plant.
That's awful. They also make pet food, I know, right now, but they're
Right,
definitely coming for our food supply. So the best advice I have to people is I try to tell people to be self-sufficient. Grow gardens, even if it's only a little bit, you can probably get enough that it would at least make a difference about this.
right.
And so I'd like to talk a little bit more. You spoke to me a little bit about a dream that you had. Would you tell us about that,
Yeah,
if you would, please?
sure. So a few years ago, I don't know, maybe 2017, 2018, I had what I consider to be a prophetic dream. I'm not, of course, I'm not for profit or anything, but once in a while I have these dreams. And in my dream, I was walking. That's very important. I was walking to and opening the door of what looked to be like an old theater, a cinema, big, like couple sets of double doors, and there was a couple of buffet lines, big buffet lines in there, and they had food. And I knew that if I wanted to eat, I had to eat there. And they were pretty much open 24 hours a day. So you could go in there pretty much any time and have this food. But that's all you had. There was no other place to get water. There was no other place to get food. Period. No snacks, no anything. If you wanted to eat, you had to go there. So I got my plate, and I think the food looked pretty good. I don't really know if it was all manufactured, in a plant grown. I don't know that, but so I got my plate, and I went into, like, it was like, again, it was like a theater. As far as, we went into this other room, this big room, and it had a circle for tables like all over, and it had it like on a big screen. And while we were eating, they were playing and talking, and they were like, "Won't you please give Satan a chance, please? He's not so bad." And I stood up in the middle of my table. We had a button, of course, this is a dream, right? So we had a button in the middle of our table, and I don't know what that signified, but I stood up and I slammed that button down, and I said, "No." And I woke myself up saying no. It was so loud. But I knew that it was a dream from God, and I didn't know how we were going to get there, because this was pre
Yeah.
2019. So I had no idea how we would get there. But now it's very clear to me how we're not only going to get there, but people are going to be begging for this once everyone's homeless, which will happen eventually. Like I said, this is not going to happen overnight, though. So, but yeah, that's where
And
we're
that
headed. That's
seems
what's going to
pretty
happen.
scary because we can kind of see this coming. I mean, it's all stuff that's kind of leading into this, and our freedoms are eroding rapidly. They're coming after them one by one. So, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They're taking our freedoms away a little bit here, a little bit there. They're just another chicken house with millions of chickens just burned down the other day. I mean, they're literally taking out our livestock
Absolutely.
one
Yeah.
way
This
or
war on
another.
food, it's rapidly escalating.
Yeah,
So keep in touch with your local farmer is the best way to do it,
yeah.
you know?
So
So, yeah, so it's unfortunately we're losing our land now also with this arable farmland, and they're controlling that as well. So we've really got to stay diligent on this. So,
yeah, it's unfortunate, but what I see coming down the pike is everyone's going to lose their land because no one will be able to pay their taxes. So there will be no one on property, period. And what they're going to do is they're going to cordon off the properties and put people in these 15-minute cities and make them literally beg to go in there. And then they're basically locked in there. And who's ever in that city with you? Well, that's just who you're with. Travel will be limited. So everything's going to fall. We can prep, we can prep, but how can somebody prep and still keep their things safe, because the entire world is going to fall like this. So this isn't just America.
Yeah.
This is the entire world this is going to happen to. I think France is already in trouble with their money system, and it's just a matter of time before everyone falls. I can kind of see the big picture, and it's kind of hard to explain, but this is just going to get nothing but worse, nothing but worse. And I have food stored, but you have to have a way to protect it, and no one can fight everybody. In fact, it would be very hard to turn down most people, and you're not gonna, once you give your last food away, then what are they gonna do? That's why people are gonna be begging for 15-minute cities, and I don't think they'll make people beg too long, because they're already building tiny
Right.
houses
Well,
in
they're going to issue
California
the
as we speak.
solution, and along with it is, yeah, it's going to come with that central bank
That's
digital
why
currency, complete with the surveillance and this safety that you're talking about,
right,
people will flock to. And the best way to stay out of this, I always talk about building community. You know,
absolutely. Yeah, they want to take everyone's land away from them, and the only way to do that is to keep people from paying their taxes.
yes,
They want to cause hyperinflation. So that's going to be one of the earmarks of the end.
absolutely.
So
So
yeah,
I would like to thank you, Gracie, for coming on, and I hope that everybody will
exactly.
check out her channel at least. If you would give this a
Yeah.
thumbs up, comment, let her know about this. So I appreciate everyone being here. And yeah, you've got some great stuff going on. So stay tuned with us. And I would like to, I'm going to leave a link below in the description so that you can reach her easily. But also, if you would leave a comment for her. Thank you all very kindly. Gracie, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Lava Girl. You've been a huge help with this whole thing and helping me get my channel started. I really appreciate you. And I just want to say that
Absolutely
remember,
not.
there
And
are
until
no
I see you again, my
coincidences.
friends, stay free.